Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Jobs. Yes, that's right, it's me, Chief Executive of Apple Inc., 1 Infinite Loop, Cupertino, California, 95014. I know the address. That's how you know it's me, Steve Jobs. Well, I've got some big news this year, and I want the whole world to hear it. I quit. Yes, that's right. I'm resigning effective immediately. And what's more, I'm shutting down all of Apple. Now, I know this comes as a surprise to some of you, but if you think about it, you'll see I really didn't have a choice. I mean, Vista's been performing so well. They've sold tens of dozens of copies. It was so clear to me that Leopard was just going to get lost in all of that wow. And then I got my iPod killer. The Zune. Look at this baby, huh? Brown. Now, I'm sure you'd agree that it's time for Apple to wave the white flag and concede defeat to the boys up in Redmond, Washington. Now, don't shed tears over the iPhone and all that other junk we talked about. Just carry those big brains of yours up out of the Mascarpone Center and go on home. You're no longer needed.
PC?
Good. Hey, oh, hi, Mac. What's going on? How are you?
Again? Really? Why? I thought we talked about this last year. You think these people are really going to believe that you're Steve Jobs?
You're right. Hello, I'm Phil Schiller.
Good morning. Welcome. Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for coming. We got some great stuff to show you today. So welcome to WWDC 07. I'm really pleased to report that we have over 5,000 attendees today. This is the biggest WWDC ever in the history of Apple. And another really cool thing is that we have over 950,000 Apple Developer Connection members. That's up 200,000 from just a year ago. So our developer community is very healthy, growing very rapidly. So we couldn't be happier. Now, this week, we got some great stuff for you. We've got 159 sessions. We've got 94 hands-on labs. And we've got 1,200 Apple engineers on site. That's one Apple engineer for every 4 attendees. So you ought to be able to grab an Apple engineer and get your questions answered during the week, and I would encourage you to do so. So WWDC 07. Before we get into stuff today, I just want to go back a year. What were we talking about a year ago? Well, we were talking about Intel, because we were very far along in a very ambitious project to transition all of our computers over to Intel processors. And we did it successfully. This was one of the most challenging, ambitious transitions ever in our industry. And everybody did an awesome job. Our teams inside Apple did an incredible job engineering the new Intel hardware and creating Mac OS X Tiger for Intel. You guys did an incredible job making universal versions of your apps, well, most of you anyway, and that was terrific, and there's now zillions of universal apps out there. But there's one group that I think worked extremely hard that I would like to recognize today, and that is Intel themselves. From the very day that we signed up to put Intel processors in Macs, these guys have done extraordinary work with us. We started it off by Intel CEO Paul Otellini handing me our first wafer full of Intel processors. We have worked so hard with them to do special things, to do things that are a little outside the norm so we could make the best Macs ever using Intel processors, and they have come through every single time for us. And so I wanted to kick off today, now that our transition's behind us, by inviting Intel CEO Paul Otellini up here, if I could. Thanks. Paul, I've got something for you. We're not big on awards at Apple, and so we don't have anything real standard. And so I asked Johnny Ive if the design team would make something. And they made this really nice award for you guys. And it says, our sincere thanks for your extraordinary partnership in our transition to Intel processors. I don't know if you can get a shot of this, but it's made out of polished stainless steel, and it's really beautiful. And I would like to give this to you and the Intel team.
Well, thank you so much, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. You know, I didn't know what you were doing. I just wanted to say thanks to you and your team. Working with Apple has been one of the best things that's ever happened in my career, one of the best things that's ever happened for Intel. And we couldn't be more pleased. And you know what? I think we're not done. I think we have the best still to come.
Yeah. We're working on some great stuff for some future products, so can't wait.
Got it.
Thanks, Paul.
very much.
So thank you to everybody at Intel for making this transition possible. It's been really great. We're very proud of the machines we're delivering these days. Next up, got some great news about games. First, Electronic Arts, the #1 publisher of games in the world, is coming back to the Mac in a really big way. And it's my pleasure to invite up Bing Gordon, one of the co-founders and the chief creative officer of Electronic Arts. Hey, Bing. How you doing?
Nice to be here.
All yours.
Fun. Thank you, Steve. I have 2 teenage daughters. They live on MacBook. I have friends in the music business, in the movie business, in the photography business, in the graphic design business. They live on OS X. Our CTO at Electronic Arts lives on Mac, and we're seeing EA technologists move to Mac in droves. And what do they all want? What do they keep asking for in addition to a cinema display? They want to go into an Apple store and they want to see all the latest EA games simultaneous released with all the other platforms. And so I'm here today to announce we are going to rectify the situation. Starting in July, we're going to bring 4 of our biggest titles to run under OS X. And they are Command & Conquer 3, the continuation of the 15-year battle against Nod and Kane, Battlefield 2142. The game of the year goes into a science fiction future where you can play against your friends and meet new people. Need for Speed Carbon. This is a car game with a mountain and valley racing with carbon bodies that don't handle damage very well. That's a hint. And finally in July, Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. Harry Potter is Electronic Arts' best wizard, and as you know, he needs a wand, unlike Steve Jobs, who just used his imagination. So now we're going to, Dave McComb, who's one of EA's leading Mac aficionados, is going to show us just a snippet of Harry and Hogwarts. This year, one of the features is a living Hogwarts, where you see the high-res art, the stairs move like in Hogwarts. You can explore and meet Harry's friends. In addition, so the room you're all in compared to the room that the other people didn't make it into, this is a good hall. Harry's got a great hall.
What's next? What's your timetable?
The only thing better than living on a Mac is living in Hogwarts.
Depulso! Incendio!
So a little later, Steve is going to actually wave his hand and candles are going to float in this room. So make sure, and that's one of the features of Leopard, so make sure you applaud when he does it. But wait, there's more. Electronic Arts also dominates in sports games. So starting in August, when the new sports year begins, we are going to begin releasing simultaneous launch under Mac OS. And in August, John Madden Football with an all-new AI system with players as weapons is going to be released, and Tiger Woods Golf, where you can create YouTube-like videos of your best scores and send them to friends and challenge them to match your golf capabilities. So look forward to seeing you in Apple stores with EA Games. And Steve, keep up the wizardry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. Woo. So that's great news from Electronic Arts. We've also got some really intriguing news from id. And John Carmack, the founder and owner of id, and the chief technical officer, is going to show us something really sweet today, which is one of the things he's been working on for a while. He's going to premiere it today. So John, can we get you up on stage?
Hey, Steve. So, got something pretty neat to show here. So for the last couple years at id, we've been working pretty much in secrecy on a next generation technology and a next generation game for it. And this is actually going to be the first time we've shown anything that we've been doing publicly. And we managed to put this together in really a pretty quick time, which speaks pretty highly to the Mac platform as a development and deployment station. So here we are with our first public showing of some of the things that we're working on here. Now, I've always thought of what I do with game technology as basically providing a canvas for the artists and designers to work on. And with this new generation of technology, it's really almost literally true. What we've got here is the entire world covered in unique textures, where this is 20 some odd gigabytes of texture covering this track area here. And the artists have the ability to go in and change anything they want. They can start with a model built however they want, whatever tools they want to use. But then they can go in and they can go in through some pretty neat tools and look at the world and say, I want to change the color of this mountaintop, or I want to carve my initials onto this rock here. And this level of flexibility is really something that we've never had before, where they have unlimited ability to change as much as they want on the surfaces with no impact on the performance or the stability of the game. So we can build the game, make sure it's fun, and then we can put artists on it to go ahead and make it look as good as we have time and resources to do. So we can even have 6 artists working on one of these worlds at the same time, where they can go in and build whatever they need to. And we've got, we're pretty excited about what we're going to be doing with this technology. And in fact, we're going to be showing on the Mac platform, the PC, the PS3, and the 360, the same data running. We're going to be demoing this at E3, as well as at our QuakeCon in August. And I expect to actually have another Mac-related announcement to make at that time, which we can't quite go into right now. But this is all running live, and we literally got this together in the last 10 days, so I'm quite happy with what we were able to do, and it's going to wind up being a lot better. Give me 4 more days, and it's going to be twice as smooth. So, but I think it's a pretty good show there. Thank you.
So, 2 cool announcements out of Electronic Arts and id. Now, let's move on to our big cats. Mac OS X. As you know, our current release is Mac OS X Tiger. This has been the most successful release in Apple's history. It's been phenomenal. And I'm very pleased to report that we have 22 million active Mac OS X users. Mac OS X users, 22 million. And they are comprised of 2/3 of them running Tiger. Now, this is unprecedented in our industry for 2/3 of an installed base to be running the latest and greatest release of an operating system. We have another 23% running Panther, the latest release -1, and only 10% running an older release than that. So 90% of the customers, or 20 million out of 22 million, are running the current or the current -1 release. Again, unprecedented in our industry. And it really makes it a lot easier to develop software for when you know that. So today, we're going to move beyond tiger and give you a final look at leopard before it ships in October. We are really excited about leopard. We think with tiger, we're already ahead of the competition, and we think leopard is just going to set an even higher bar. Our last major release was Tiger on Intel in January 2006. And we're going to ship leopard in October. That's 21 months after Tiger on Intel. Leopard is the 6th major release of OS X. It's got 300 new features. And this morning, I get to show you 10 of them. So let's get started. Leopard. Feature number 1 is one we haven't shown before, and that is Leopard has a new desktop. So what's it look like? It looks something like this. This is the new Leopard desktop. And that's Tiger. That's Leopard. Now, we're not having the usual blue pattern because what we found out is that nobody uses it. Everybody puts their own digital photos on things now. And so we have come up with a desktop that's really more suited to your digital photos. We picked this one. We thought it was nice, but you'll pick your own and throw it up there. And so we've got a menu bar that adapts itself to whatever digital photo you put behind it. We've got a new dock that's more three-dimensional in nature that just swoops out over whatever picture you put there. And so the new desktop has a new menu bar, a new dock, and something new to help us clean up our desktops. All of us have really messy desktops, and we'd like to clean up our desktops, and we're going to give you some tools to help, something called stacks, which we think will be really nice to clean up our desktops. We've been told that we've got all these different looks throughout the years, white looks, the metal looks. We've got a consistent window look in Leopard, and it's now even easier to see which is the active window. We've made it more prominent. So these are some of the features of the new look of the Leopard desktop. Now let me talk to you about the stacks for a little bit. First of all, let me raise this up in case some of you in the back haven't seen it. That's what the dock is like. And let me focus in on stacks. Stacks are simply folders in the dock that allow you rapid access to their contents, right? And so these are 2 stacks right here, and you just go click on them, and boom, they show you their contents, and you can get at them instantly. You can view them as a fan here, or you can also view them as a grid, whichever you like. So this is an instant way to get at the contents of folders. You can put in whatever folders you want. Let me zoom in on that a little bit more. And again, you see what it's like. Just click it and it pops up. You can click any document to run it. Very simple. And let me zoom in even more, because what we're doing is, in addition to any folders you might put there, we're going to put a folder there called downloads, because one of the biggest reasons our desktops are cluttered is because we download stuff over the internet through our browsers and through email, and it ends up on our desktop. We're redirecting those things to a simple downloads folder, and we're putting that downloads folder as a stack in the dock. And so when you download something, it looks like this until it downloads, and it puts it right on the front of the stack so you can get it very easily and do whatever you want to do with it. So this is the new desktop for Leopard. You can put it on the side as well as the bottom. It works great. And what I'd love to do is show it to you. So here we are. You can see the menu up here, right? And you can see the dock. I'm going to grab Safari, and just to show you, again, the dock, you can see the reflections of the icons. You can also see the reflections of various things on it. It's kind of nice. And I'm going to go and show you what stacks are like. Now, I've got a few stacks over here. I've got one for some demos I'm going to run a little later on. I've got one for movies and vacation, through some applications in there and downloads. So let me just go into movies. And again, here's what stacks look like. And if I want to play a movie, I can just go play a movie. It's that simple. So let me go play another one here. Let's see. this is a fun one, new iPhone commercial.
So, say you're watching Pirates of the Caribbean. Did somebody say calamari?
I assume you've seen that. Let me go into my vacation stack now. This is a bunch of things that I'm looking at. I've got a bunch of documents together because we're going to go on a vacation and want to plan it out. And, let me look at a few things. I can just go in here and just click on something. This is a PDF. It just opens it up. And, here I am. Take a look at the top 20 resorts. Let me go back in there. And, here's a PDF of a spa that I might want to go see. All right, just go through here and examine that spa. So it's that easy to keep stuff organized. Now, I've put my applications folder in here just to kind of show you. You can even use this as an app launcher if you want. I can just zoom in there and launch any app very easily, which is kind of fun. Matter of fact, let me show you this in slow-mo here. This is, again. And of course, all these features use core animation, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, to make it very, very easy. So let me show you the download stack. I'm just going to open Safari here, and I'm going to go to a site, Disneyland Paris, because I might want to take my family there on a vacation. And here's a PDF that I'm looking at on my browser for Disneyland Paris, the most fun place in the world, I'm sure. And so I want to download this. That's great. Well, we've added an affordance now in Safari, which is just an easy way to download. And you push this thing right here, and it's just going to download it. Downloads it into my download stack, and there it is. And so now when I go to my download stack, boom, there is my PDF of Disneyland Paris. Right? There it is right there. So that is how it works, and this gives you a feeling for the new desktop in Leopard. New menu bar, new dock, stacks, consistent window look, and very easy to tell the active window. So, first thing, new desktop. Second of 10 features we're going to examine today, a new Finder. So we got a new Finder in Leopard. It's got a new sidebar. It's really cleaned up, much nicer, much more powerful. With Spotlight, you can search your Mac. Now you can search other Macs and servers with Spotlight right in the Finder. You've always been able to share files, but it's never been easy from a user interface point of view. It's now really easy to browse and share files with other computers on a local net, such as all the computers at your house, all the computers at your office. And if you are a subscriber to .Mac, we have this really cool feature called Back to My Mac that allows you to browse your other computers and share files with them even when they're not on the same local net. You can do it over the internet at vast distances. And we'll show you how that works in just a minute. It's a very cool new feature. And to the new Finder in Leopard, we've added something called Cover Flow that hundreds of millions of people already know how to use, and it turns out it's amazingly cool. So, let me just show you a few things in slides here. This is the new Finder, and as you know, we've had some buttons up at the top to pick our view. We've added a fourth button for Cover Flow, and so we can be looking at our icons, an icon view here. You can see we've jazzed up some of the PDF ones and things like that. You can look at things in list view, you can look at things in our famous column view, and now you can look at the same things in Cover Flow. All your documents, it turns out to be incredibly useful. So that is the new view Cover Flow. Now let me focus on the sidebar over here. New sidebar for Leopard. It's much cleaner. You can close things when you're not interested in them. And we've got devices, some shared computers, places, and a way to search for things. And let me focus on the search for just a second. We are populating this with some smart searches, but you can add your own. So you can instantly just click on today and see all the documents you touched today, or yesterday, or this past week, or all your images, wherever they are, or all your documents, wherever they are. It's really easy to find stuff. And again, you can add your own smart folders right there. Now let me go ahead and open Shared. And what we'll see is that we've got some computers around our house, the home iMac, the kids iMac, a MacBook, and I can, again, browse and share files with these just by clicking on that and going into them as if they were right on my own computer. And if I'm a .Mac subscriber, I can click on that tower in the office and go browse it as well. Now, how does that work? How does this back to my Mac thing actually work? It's really simple, actually, in concept. We've got the internet, we've got .Mac, we've got a computer, let's say an iMac at my house, and let's say I'm traveling and I've got a MacBook Pro on the road. And I've left a file on my home iMac that I need on the road. What am I going to do? Well, whenever my home iMac gets a new IP address, it always tells .Mac. So .Mac always knows the IP addresses of all my computers. And my mobile computer out on the road, whenever I get to my hotel room, plug it in, it goes and tells its IP address to .Mac, and .Mac gives it the IP addresses of all my other computers, and so my notebook now knows the IP address of my desktop computer. They communicate. It's encrypted. It all works great. So let me show you a few of these things now. So let me first show you CoverFlow. So here's a new Finder. As you can see, we've redesigned the folders, made them a little more straightforward, nicer looking, even give you a hint at what's inside them. And I'm going to go click on Documents in the sidebar here, and here's all my documents. Again, you can see what they look like. And this is icon view, and there's list view, and there's column view, and here's CoverFlow view. And I can just scroll through my documents and see all my documents and find exactly what I'm looking for right here. It's really simple, and it's really, really helpful. So the other thing I can do is I can actually cycle through pages. This is a PDF, and I can just cycle through its pages right here. Here's a keynote presentation, and I can actually cycle through the slides in a keynote presentation. I've got an ad somewhere here. Yeah, there's the same ad we were looking at earlier. I can play it in place if I want to. And I can even, I can go to any folder and see it this way. I can go to Applications, and again, here's my applications. If I want to see them this way, it's pretty cool. Here's my utilities. Right? I can just double-click in here, and even our utilities are beautiful. Isn't this cool? So this is an amazing way to find things, and it turns out to be super useful. So let me go now to the sidebar, and I'm going to, here's devices and places and search for. I can look at all the things that, I touched today, all the things I touched yesterday, But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up Shared here, and what it's showing me now are all the computers, let's say, in my house. So the family Mac, Tracy's MacBook, and here's even a Windows machine up in the attic, and I can even go on Windows machines and trade files with them this way. I'm going to go on the family Mac right here, and I'm connected as a guest. I could log in if I wanted to get some other files which are not available to any guest. And I just go in here, and let's say we're looking at buying a new car, and on the family Mac we've got all these brochures and other things like that. And I can even go into CoverFlow here, and I'm using CoverFlow over the network from this family iMac, looking at documents and PDFs and other kinds of documents on this other Mac right from the sidebar. Isn't that cool? So CoverFlow over the network. Now what I'm going to do is I want to show you the back to my Mac stuff. And so I'm going to go up in Preferences here, and I'm going to choose .Mac right here. And we have a new tab here called Back to My Mac, and all I have to do is push Start. And that's going to say that it wants this Mac to communicate with .Mac and give it its IP addresses and pull the IP addresses of all my other Macs back so it knows how to talk with them. And look what popped up, Mac Pro at work. And it's doing all its IP stuff, and will connect me with that computer in just a second. And so I'm going to go in here, Steve, and well, there we go. And I'm going to go in here to Presentations, and let's take a look at those. And this is the stuff on my work computer right now, and I forgot to bring home a presentation. I could just go in and make sure this is the right one, simple one, right? And I could just drag it over to my desktop, boom, and open it up, and there you have it. Now, I'm going to go up here in the spotlight, and we've got a child that's nearing college age, and we're looking at colleges, going to try to get him into school. We've got, again, a bunch of documents there, and I'm going to go search for that on my computer, college, and I can't find it anywhere. It must not be on my Mac. It's probably on one of the shared Macs, so I push shared. It's just done a search on all the other shared Macs, and it's found it on the family Mac under school planning, and here are all those documents having to do with college. They're on the other Mac, and I could just open up one just by double-clicking on it and take a look, in this case, at UC Berkeley. And this is, again, all over the net, spotlight, searching, other computers, finding me exactly what I want, even if it's not on my own computer. So that gives you a feel for the new Finder in Leopard. A much more powerful sidebar, the ability to search other computers with Spotlight, the same as we can search our own. Easily share with other computers, even those that are at far distances if you're a .Mac subscriber, and cover flow built right into the Finder. I think you're going to really like it. It's great. So, a new Finder. Number 3, we call it Quick Look. Quick Look's great. Quick Look lets you instantly preview files without opening applications. All right, you want to see what's in a file. You don't want an open application. You just want to check it out. It works with, of course, all the popular file types: text, images, movies, PDFs, Word documents, Excel documents. And if you've got a document type that it doesn't work with, it's a plug-in model, you can easily add it, and you get full screen preview. So you're sitting here in the Finder. You want to make sure that's the PDF that you're looking for. Boom, you can take a look at it. That's it. And let me go ahead and show this to you. So we're going to go back to the Finder. I'm going to go into Documents right here. And I'm going to pick this. I've got this PDF here right at the beginning. Let's use that one, I guess. And all I do is hit the space bar, and boom, there it is. And I am now looking through my PDF, right? Without launching a viewer app or anything else. Boom, boom, boom. Keynote presentation. Boom, there it is. And I can just click through the slides, make sure this is what I want. Boom, there it goes. And I can even do these things full screen if I want to, which I'll show you in a second. Let's see, there's an Excel document. Yeah, there it is right there. This is an Excel document. Open it up, take a look at it. If it's multi-page, I could take a look at all the pages. I don't know if this one is or not. Nope. But if it was, I could look at all the pages, look at Word documents, anything I want to do. So let's go ahead, and I've got one of my little trailer for one of my favorite movies right here, Ratatouille. And of course, we could just play it right in here as I showed you, but we can just hit the space bar and get a quick look at it. And I could even make it full screen if I want.
Chefs in the world. All my life, I've wanted to be one of them.
That's
you may
great.
think that's a strange dream for a rat, but...
So this is how I can rapidly look at files to make sure they're what I want. Say, is this what I wanted? You know? Take a look at it full screen to make sure I've had 2 or 3 of the same thing. Yep, that's the one I want. And rapidly examine these things. That is Quick Look. All right. So a great companion to the Finder, to other applications in Leopard. Number 4, Leopard is 64-bit top to bottom. Not only does it have the 64-bit underpinnings in Unix, but we've taken them all the way up through Cocoa. And so Leopard really will be the first time that 64-bit goes mainstream in the PC world. Again, all the way up through Cocoa, and one version of Leopard runs 32-bit and 64-bit apps side by side, optimized for each, We do not have a 32-bit version of Leopard and a separate 64-bit version of Leopard. It's one version. So if you write a 64-bit app, you can be guaranteed it will run on every version of every copy of Leopard out there. And that's why this is going to be the first time that 64-bit goes mainstream, because you can be guaranteed that 64-bit apps run on every copy of Leopard out there. And it's very, very cool. So let me show it to you now. We've got an app that we've written. It's sort of a little shootout between 32 bits and 64 bits. And so what we have is we've got a 32-bit version and a 64-bit version of the same app. And this app is going to load in a giant photograph. See, we've got our 32-bit app on the left and our 64-bit app on the right, and they're loading in a Library of Congress photograph, which is 4 gigabytes in size. It's 32K by 32K pixels, over 1 billion pixels, and it cannot, the 32-bit app cannot keep this whole thing in memory at once, so it's going to have to be going to the disk to perform operations on it, is where the 64-bit version of the app can. And we're going to see the difference. So I've got my photograph here, and let me just zoom in on this just to show you that how dense this photograph is, right? It's a very dense photograph, very large, a lot of pixels here. So what we're going to do is I've taken this photograph, and it's not quite right, the white balance isn't right, and we can run a few filters on it and clean it up. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And you can see the CPU and disk usage here, and you can see how fast, how much faster the 64-bit version is running. And you can see its disk usage. It's got the whole image in disk, so it doesn't have to go to the disk, as where the 32-bit version is going to the disk constantly. And so we're done in 28.48 seconds. Let me just show you that it actually touched every pixel inside here, cleaned up all the books. Let me do something else that's kind of fun. While this other one's finishing, I'll put a stamp on this that says Library of Congress. And again, this is just not a simple piece of text. This goes very deep into the bits. As we zoom in, you'll see that it's all the way in. And we've done all of this in time that's quite a bit shorter than the other app is going to take to complete here. And it's just one example, a simple app, that shows you the benefits of having 64 bits top to bottom in the system, where you can address tons of memory. And there we have it, 81.64 seconds versus 28 seconds on the 64-bit version. All righty. So, and we're seeing a real need for 64 bits, not just in scientific computation. We're hearing it a lot from those guys, of course, but we're hearing it a lot more and more in the professional arts, whether it's animation or high end of the Photoshop market. We're hearing it quite a bit. So we're hoping that this is going to really help all those people. And please remember that almost every computer we ship is 64-bit capable. So this is going to run great on almost every Mac we ship. All right, 64 bits. Number 5, core animation. Now, as you know, we've provided you core audio, core image, core video over time. Core animation completes that suite. It's automatic animation. It's very, very simple to use, very easy to add, tremendous high production value to your applications, text, images, video, OpenGL. And again, very high production values, very low effort to add it. You can compose things as scenes of layers, and it automatically brings in the GPU acceleration. It's pretty cool. So let me give you a demo of this. Now, for a demo, our graphics team took if you've seen Apple TV, there's a little movie we play at the beginning of it just to get you in the right mood. And so they took that movie and made it into an interactive application here in a very short period of time. And so here's an application that's just got a bunch of video playing. Looks a lot like what we ship with Apple TV, except it's live and interactive. So I can just go in here and click anywhere, and I zoom into that video and zoom into this, and you know, any video I want to. right? But it's even cooler because I can search for things. All these videos have tags on them, so I'm going to search for water. All the videos have anything to do with water. So when I type W, you can see all these videos come out. And, you know. So here's all the videos that have anything to do with water, and you know we can see this stuff. It's kind of cool. And then I could type fish as well. And there's only one that has to do with water and fish. So that's kind of cool. But again, you can see the interactive nature of this app. Let me try Amazon. So there's all the ones that have anything to do with A. So here's all the ones that have to do with the Amazon. And again, you know, it's pretty cool. And this was written very, very quickly. And you can see what core animation can do for you. I think there was one more, had something to do with the beach. And again, we can see all the videos that have anything to do with the beach. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you with core animation. And here we go. I don't know how long our graphics group took to create that, but it wasn't very long. And it shows you what you can do with a little bit of effort with core animation, add tremendous production value, and really cool functionality to your apps with core animation. All right, number 6, Boot Camp. Boot Camp's pretty amazing. Since we put it out a year ago, March, so a little over a year ago, we've had over 2.5 million downloads of the beta. And with Leopard, Boot Camp is now going to be built in. No need to go get a download, the latest and greatest version of Boot Camp. It lets you run Windows XP and Vista, native speed, complete compatibility. When you need complete compatibility, this is the best way to run Windows on your Mac. No more CD burning to install the drivers. They're on the Leopard CD. And this is a really great complement to Parallels and VMware. You know, if you want to run Windows now, there's 3 great ways to run Windows on the Mac. There's Boot Camp, which is the most compatible way. If you need native speed and be totally compatible, Boot Camp's the thing. But a lot of people want to run Windows apps side by side with their Mac apps. And for that, Parallels and VMware are fantastic. And so this is Parallels running, as I'm sure many of you know. And VMware, same thing. And so we've now got 3 great solutions if you need to run an occasional Windows app on your Mac. Boot Camp, Parallels, and VMware. We love these other things, and we're helping them as much as we can. So we're thrilled with this, and Boot Camp is now going to be built into Leopard. Number 7. We have something new in Leopard called Spaces. Spaces is pretty cool. Spaces lets you group applications into separate spaces, we call them. And it lets you instantly switch between these spaces, back and forth. And it lets you easily move applications between spaces, and it can give you a bird's eye view of those spaces. And so rather than living with this, you can break things up into spaces of apps where you do a specific task, and you need these apps to do it with, put them in a space, and switch to that space. So let me just show you what it's like. All righty, I'm just going to launch Safari and let's say Mail here. And they're already here, and I'm just going to go into Spaces. And that's one of my 4 spaces. I can set the number of spaces to however many I want. And so to switch spaces, I just pick another one. And now I'm there. Or now I'm here. Or now I'm there. Right? Very simple. But there's better ways to switch. There's faster ways to switch. I just hold down one of the keys and hit the arrow key and go down there, go down there. Right? You know? Very easy. And I can zoom around all over the place in my spaces and very rapidly switch between them. Boom. Now, if I want to rearrange my spaces, I can do that too. I can say, well, I really want this one down here or maybe up there. I really want this one up there. Actually, I really want this one maybe up here. Whoops, what am I doing here? Nope, I don't want to do that. I just want to do that. And the other thing I can do is I can actually rearrange the applications in my spaces. So as an example, if I'm over here and I want to use iWeb to make a website, I can just drag it up here, and now it's in this space. When I'm done with it, I can drag it back down here, and now it's back in this space, right? Very, very easy to do. So that is Spaces in Leopard. Very simple. Okay. Very easy to use. Lets me organize my work life. So number 8, dashboard. Of course, dashboard's been a huge hit. We premiered it in Tiger. We ship a bunch of widgets, but you guys have written a ton of widgets. There are over 3,000 widgets out there now for dashboard, and it's been a huge hit. I don't know about you guys, but I use dashboard many, many, many times every day, and it's fantastic. So you guys keep writing more widgets. We feel like we should do our part now and then, so we're adding one more widget to Leopard, one that we wanted a lot, called just a way to look up movie times, because we like to go see movies now and then. And so this widget allows us to search for movies or by movie or by theater, and when we find the movie we want, it even lets us buy tickets on Fandango, and it's kind of cool. And it lets us get previews of the movies, and a very simple widget, and this will ship with Leopard. So you're making a lot of widgets, we're shipping a few, but customers still want widgets that none of us make. And so we premiered a technology which we're shipping in Leopard called WebClip. And WebClip makes you go, it lets you as a user go make a widget out of almost anything on the internet, so that you can make your favorite widgets without needing any of us. And it's pretty cool. So let me go demo you these now. Our movies widget, pretty simple. It just shows you posters of all the movies. You click on it, and you can look for movies in here, whatever you'd like. Oh, let's see. And you can pick a theater if you want. You know, what's a theater close to me? I don't know. Pick a time, order tickets. You can even see a trailer here if you want to.
Allison, Jack and I need to see you in his office.
We were wondering whether or not you would be good for on camera.
Really? I know, I was so surprised too.
All right, well that's cool. So anyway, this is the movies widget, and I hope you like it. I think it'll be useful. But what's really cool is WebClip. And so let me go into WebClip just by going into Safari. And I'm going to go to a few websites where I want to make some widgets of my own. And this is Yahoo, and I like Yahoo's main story area here. It kind of keeps me plugged into what's going on, like a lavish royal wedding in Brunei. So all I do is I go up here and I push this button with the scissors on it, and this is going to automatically find the various sections of a website which I might be interested in. And this is the one I might be interested in, so I'm going to just click on it, and I say, make that a widget. And boom, that's now a widget, right? And that's cool. All right, let's go back here, and let's go to another website. I go to Rotten Tomatoes a lot. Rotten Tomatoes, if you've never been there, is like the best site for movie reviews because they aggregate all the movie reviews around the country. And I go in again to here, and this will help me, find things on there. I could pick all these different areas, but I like this one because it shows me the ratings for the movies that are out and the ones that are coming. And so I'm going to click on that and say, okay, I want to make that a widget. And there it is creating the widget right now. And these things are just going to constantly stay up to date. And here's another widget that I've got. So let's go make another one. Dilbert. I might like Dilbert a lot. And you can imagine what I might like to do. Just go in here and go down here and pick this and say, let's make a widget. And let me go back, and I've got a few more here. Oh, Google Trends. These are the keywords that people search on the most at Google. It's kind of cool. And so I could go in here and pick any one of these. So I'm going to pick this, but I don't want the top 25. I really just want the top 10, so I'll just raise this up to there and say make a widget out of that. These are the 10 most searched words on Google at any time, and they'll update automatically. And maybe one more. National Geographic runs a photo of the day. It's usually pretty cool, so I might want to see that. And, you know, I can, again, pick any of these things, but I'm going to pick the photo of the day and make a widget out of that. And so there we are, and now I can go back and I can take my widgets here and I can flip this around and I can maybe put a picture frame on this one, and there's my National Geographic photo, and I can, it's a comic strip, so I'll put a little torn edge on that one. There's my comic strip. This is, so maybe I'll put this on the Google top search words, and maybe I'll put this picture frame here on my box office, and you can just see what you can do here. We'll put this on Yahoo there. So here we go. That gets in the way. Maybe we'll just do something simple. And you know, these are all live. I can go to entertainment here, I can go to sports, I can go pick one of these stories here, whatever I want to do, and all these widgets are going to update automatically, and this is WebClip. You can make your own widgets from anywhere on the web you want, and they're always going to stay up to date. All righty. So, we're contributing a movie widget, but now we're going to let users make whatever widgets they want from anywhere on the web. And we want you guys to keep making more widgets too, because your 3,000 widgets are phenomenal. And for those of you who are not using Dash Code ships in every copy of Leopard. And so you can use Dash Code. It's our amazing tool that lets you create widgets in a fraction of the time. And if you're not using it, I'd strongly suggest you do. So 3 really cool things happening in Leopard about widgets and dashboard. Number 9, iChat. Let's talk about iChat. We have gotten so much feedback about video conferencing. It's incredibly heartening. So many people have used video conferencing to stay in touch with their kids when they go off to college, to tie their families together, some really in some heartwarming ways. And we've also shipped, as you know, now that we have video cameras in most of our Macs, we've shipped an app called Photo Booth, which seems to vie with MySpace for an app that kids want to spend hours and hours and hours on. And so we're going to bring some of that fun over to iChat as well. First of all, we've got better audio quality with a new AAC codec called Low Delay, tab chats, which has been a big request, photo booth effects now in iChat, iChat Theater, which we think will be very, very cool, and as well as backdrops. So you're all familiar with, of course, what it means to have tab chats. It really cleans up your desktop when you're on multiple chats. You can imagine what photo booth effects are going to look like. iChat Theater, instead of having a multi-party conference, it lets you actually take applications like iPhoto and others and put them right on the screen. You can even expand it to full screen to show off your latest photos or even keynote slideshows. And so let me give you a feel for what this is like for iChat. So what I'm going to do is just launch iChat here. Yeah, I don't have a lot of buddies, just Phil. And so I'm going to see if he wants to video chat with me here. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How's the keynote going?
I'll tell you in half an hour or so. But why don't, can you help me show everybody what iChat's like in Leopard?
Oh, there's a lot of great features, sure. Well, let me start with iChat Theater. We're in the middle of an iChat right now, and while we're having this iChat, I can show you all different kinds of things. So for example, maybe I have a slideshow I created of a recent vacation. So I go to iPhoto, and I hit play, and it starts playing right in iChat. So I can show you my photos.
Very cool. I'm going to go into full screen here so we can just see in full screen. Look at that.
So that's cool. You're seeing the same photos I am across the internet in iChat. And that works with iPhoto. I can do the same kind of thing with the presentation. Maybe I want to show you a keynote presentation. I go into Keynote and I choose to view it in iChat Theater, and now you're seeing the same presentation as me. As I click on the slides, you're going to see the transitions and effects, just like you're right here with me watching a Keynote presentation.
Very cool.
Those are pictures and slides. I can do the same thing with video. So I'm going to grab a home movie. Maybe I recently created a movie and I want to show you. So I drag it right in to our iChat session, and it starts playing. So that's cool. Now we do that using that amazing Quick Look technology. So really, anything that works with Quick Look can work inside iChat Theater. So for example, I can go and quick look on my machine a PDF document, and there's a button to send it right to you in iChat Theater. And now we're looking at a PDF together.
Wow.
And it works with all the Quick Look types of documents that have plugins. Yeah, isn't that cool? So for example, where I can go and grab an Excel spreadsheet, and I can start showing you a whole workbook. There's actually pages in the workbook I can flip through. And it doesn't matter what kind of content it is. If Quick Look supports it, we can do it in iChat Theater.
Wow.
So that's iChat Theater.
That's very cool. So tell me about these backdrops.
Oh, backdrops are a lot of fun. So all I have to do is go into my effects window in iChat and select a backdrop. And iChat will ask me to step out of the frame. So it finds the background. And once it's found it, I can step back. And now I'm in that background. Wow. That is so cool. And now that I've done that, I can select all different kinds of backgrounds. And they'll just pop right in place.
Very cool.
So that's backgrounds.
So tell me about some of the other photo booth effects we can do. Can you give me?
Okay. Well, we've taken effects just like with Photo Booth. Here's one called Thermal that we had in Photo Booth. So a lot of the effects, hold on. A lot of the effects that are in Photo Booth we can do now in iChat. And they're more fun when you do them live with your friends. All different kinds of cool things, you know. Whoa. So this is the tricky part. This is a really fun one. It's like I'm in Star Wars doing a hologram. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, in my own hope. Now those are cool, but I've saved the best for last. This one's a lot of fun. So, this is taking a photo with an alpha channel mask for the mouth. And it finds my mouth in the camera and places it in the center. And if I'm actually a little slow, it'll actually do some color balancing as well and try to get me to look just like our first president, George Washington. Now this is cool. You can imagine all the kinds of people you can have a lot of fun with. So. I love my Mac.
Okay.
So I will push it. I can have a lot of fun with this.
Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
We figured that was the only way we were ever going to get Steve to join us in one of our keynotes. So the new iChat and Leopard, it's pretty cool. We think that it's very useful with things like iChat Theater and a whole lot of fun with things like backgrounds and some of the stuff you saw. So that's iChat. And number 10 is, of course, Time Machine. And as we talked about before, you know, we're using our computers not just to store our work documents, but really our digital lives. We've got things on our computers now that used to be in our precious shoeboxes, would never get lost. But if you lose these things now, if you just lose one precious photograph, you're going to be really bummed. Imagine if you lost your whole library of photographs. We've got very precious stuff on our computers, and yet almost no one backs up their computer automatically. Almost all of us do not. And so we are just walking time bombs waiting to happen in terms of having something go wrong and misplacing some information, mistakenly deleting it, or worse. And this is what Time Machine is all about. We'd like to solve these problems in such a simple way that everyone actually uses it. So, Time Machine lets you set up backup with just one click. You click it on, it does everything, it automatically backs up everything. You don't have to tell it what you want backed up or not, it just backs up everything. And it'll back it up to a local hard drive or a network server, and it'll even back it up wirelessly. And so you can hang a hard drive off of your Mac if you want to, or you can go get an Airport Extreme base station and plug a drive into it and do it wirelessly. And as a matter of fact, all the Macs in your house can share one base station and a drive if you get a bigger drive to back up all the Macs in your house wirelessly on one drive, all completely automatically. So that handles the backup. What happens if something goes wrong and you need to go find a file? Well, Time Machine now lets you search back in time for lost files using Spotlight Search, back in time. And you can preview files you find and make sure they're the right ones with Quick Look. And if they are, you can restore them with one click, and you can even restore your entire Mac. And we've got this great user interface that lets you go back in time and find things now, even with Quick Look. And so let me show that to you. So I'm going to, again, open my Finder, and I'm going to search for a really important presentation that I was making on architecture. And, oh my God, it's not there. This should have been there. And so I'm freaking out right now. Where did it go? And so I'm going to activate Time Machine just by clicking on this icon. And there it is. And what I can do, it's still, you see it still has architecture in the search field. And matter of fact, it has architecture in every search field back through time. And to go back and search through time, all I have to do is push this arrow, and it's now searching through time until Spotlight finds stuff having to do with architecture. And there it is. And so I can now, this is the presentation I think I was looking for, and here's all my support materials. So I obviously must have thrown out a folder mistakenly. And I can make sure of that. I can just go ahead and Quick Look this thing, and sure enough, this is exactly what I was looking for. There it is, safe and sound. Whew. And so now I want to restore this, and so all I do is push this button that says Restore, and boom, I have now restored my presentation, and I can open it in Keynote in this case. Boom, there it is. I found my presentation. I've saved the day with Time Machine. All right. So the goal here is to build this in and make it so simple and so automatic that people actually use it. One-click setup. Just hang a inexpensive drive, USB FireWire on your Mac, or get an Airport Extreme base station, wirelessly back up all the Macs in your house, and if you lose something, it's really easy to search back in time and find it, preview it with Quick Look, and then restore it with just one click. We think this is really important, and that's why we're building it into Leopard, and that is Time Machine. Okay, so this is 10 things out of Leopard that we want to give you a little look at today. A new Finder, Quick Look, 64-bit top to bottom, core animation, Boot Camp built in, spaces, dashboard, extended iChat, and now Time Machine, and all of this with a whole new desktop. These are just 10 of the over 300 features in Leopard, and we think you're really going to love it. So, Mac OS X Leopard, you're getting a copy today. Leopard Development Preview. After the keynote today, just walk downstairs to the registration desk and pick up your copy this morning. We want to get it in your hands, have you start testing it, giving us lots of feedback, because we intend to ship this in October. Now, we've got a basic version, which is going to cost $129. We've got a premium version, which is going to cost $129. We have a business version, which is going to cost $129. We have an enterprise version. It's going to cost $129. And we have the ultimate version. We're throwing everything into it. It's $129. So we think most people will buy the ultimate version. Seriously, we have just one version of Leopard. It's got everything in it, and it cost $129. And we just couldn't be happier. So, Mac OS X Leopard. And we hope you love it as much as we do. So, there you have it. But there is one more little thing. Since we're all here today, there's one other thing we wanted to tell you about that we think you might like. One of the things we didn't have a chance to talk about so far is Safari. You know that Safari has been a wonderful success. There are now over 18 million Safari users. And if you look at Safari's market share, it has climbed from 0 when we introduced it a few years ago to 5% across the entire internet. Now, if you look at the whole world of browsers, Internet Explorer's market share is about 78%. Firefox is about 15%. Safari is 5%. And other browsers are about 2%. Well, we dream big. We would love for Safari's market share to grow substantially. That's what we'd love. But how are we going to do that? Well, the Mac's market share is growing, and this is great. But we want to grow maybe even in addition to that. And to do that, we're going to have to create a version of Safari that runs on Windows. We have a little bit of expertise in doing that because of iTunes. And that's exactly what we have done. We now have Safari, the latest and greatest version, Safari 3, running on Leopard. Safari 3 now runs on XP and Vista as well. They exist today. How do they work? Well, one of the most important things, of course, we're bringing all of the Safari innovations over to Windows because it is the best browser in the world. But what about speed? How does it measure up? How good are we at bringing apps to Windows? Well, let's take a look. iBench, most respected browser benchmarks there are, publicly available. Let's take a look at HTML performance on Windows XP. 3 browsers, Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Safari, all running on the same machine, same Windows XP. How do they do in these tests? Obviously, faster is better. To run through the iBench HTML performance suite, 4.6 seconds on Internet Explorer, Firefox 3.7, Safari 2.2, over twice as fast as IE. Let's take a look at JavaScript. Another very important thing. Internet Explorer to run the iBench JavaScript suite, 2.4 seconds. Firefox, 1.6. Safari, under a second. So, what we've got here is the most innovative browser in the world, but we've also got the fastest browser on Windows. Twice as fast as IE, 1.6 times faster than Firefox 2. Google and Yahoo search built in. It is the same technology as Safari on Leopard. And I would love to show this to you now. So I'm obviously going to have to change computers here. This is odd. So let me go ahead and launch Safari out of the Start menu. And here it is right now. This is Safari, and I can go to websites. I can go to Yahoo here. I can go to the New York Times, right, MSN, ESPN. You know, very, very simple. And we've got a new tab feature that's in all versions of Safari 3, where I've got tabs here and LA Times, and I can drag tabs around, right, which is kind of nice. The other thing I can do is I can just drag them off and put them in their own window, which is kind of nice. But what I really want to show you, actually, is I want to show you the iBench speed test shootout. And so to do that, let's see. I'm going to go back in here, and I've got the iBench shootout. And this is going to run through the iBench scripts 3 times, just so you can see it, because if it runs through it once, it's pretty fast. Safari on the left, IE7 on the right. So here we go. And at 3, 2, 1, and let's start the tests. And it just loads a ton of websites. Again, Safari on the left, IE7 on the right. 6.64 seconds for Safari on Windows. 13.56 seconds for IE7 on Windows. There you have it. So Safari is the fastest browser on Windows. Again, as you can see, you can run these tests yourself. Anyone can, and verify this. But how are we going to distribute this? I mean, we don't really talk to these customers, do we? You know, there are 500,000 downloads of Firefox a day. What are we going to do? Well, it turns out there's over 1 million downloads of iTunes a day. As a matter of fact, there have been over 500 million downloads of iTunes to Windows machines. Over 500 million. And so we know how to reach these customers, and we're going to do exactly that. So there are 3 different versions of Safari 3. One that runs on Leopard, one that runs on XP, and Vista. And we are releasing them to you today as a public beta on Leopard. It's in your developer preview. We are also releasing today a public beta that runs on both Windows and Tiger. Since nobody outside of the developer conference gets Leopard, we're going to release it on Tiger and on Windows today. It's a free beta, apple.com/Safari. You can go get it today. And who knows, maybe we can grow our Safari share in the future. We're going to go try. So that's Safari on Windows. We hope you like it. So there you have it. Leopard, Safari on Windows. But I do have one last thing that I want to talk about. And that, of course, is the iPhone. The iPhone ships on June 29th. That is just 18 days from today. I believe at 6 p.m. in the evening they will go on sale. June 29th, 18 days from today. Now, what about developers? What about developers? We have been trying to come up with a solution to expand the capabilities of iPhone by letting developers write great apps for it, and yet keep the iPhone reliable and secure. And we've come up with a very sweet solution. And let me tell you about it. So, we've got an innovative new way to create applications for mobile devices. Really innovative. And it's all based on the fact that iPhone has the full Safari inside it. The full Safari engine is inside of iPhone. And it gives us tremendous capability, more than has ever been in a mobile device to this date. And so you can write amazing Web 2.0 and AJAX apps that look exactly and behave exactly like apps on the iPhone. And these apps can integrate perfectly with iPhone services. They can make a call. They can send an email. They can look up a location on Google Maps. After you write them, you have instant distribution. You don't have to worry about distribution. Just put them on your internet server. And they're really easy to update. Just change the code on your own server rather than having to go through this really complex update process. And they're secure with the same kind of security you'd use for transactions with Amazon or a bank. And they run securely on the iPhone so that they don't compromise its reliability or security. And guess what? There's no SDK that you need. You've got everything you need if you know how to write apps using the most modern web standards to write amazing apps for the iPhone today. You can go live on June 29th. And we'd like to show you an example of the kind of apps that you can write starting today. So I'd like to bring up Scott Forrestal, our VP of iPhone software, who's going to show us one of those apps.
Okay, not only am I going to show you how you can build great applications for iPhone using web technologies, but also how your applications running on the iPhone can take advantage of all the built-in native services as well. So let's get going. Here is an iPhone, and we have it tethered up here so you can get the video out there. I push the button to wake it up. Again, we have this great touch screen. Slide across. We are unlocked. This is the home screen. So all of your applications are going to run right here in the Safari application. Now, as Steve said, this is the exact same Safari engine that we have running on iPhone as we have running on both the macOS 10 and now Windows. So, I can do things like double tap to zoom in, double tap to zoom out. All the standard web pages out there just work on the phone. But what's really exciting is you can build custom applications for the phone that have the look and feel of the phone. So we actually built one of these. And it's Apple Directory. Our IS team decided they wanted to have a custom application for iPhone to get into our corporate address book database. Now this database is backed by an LDAP database, but they wanted to build something which looked and felt natural on the phone, and that's what they've done. It actually took less than 1 person month to do this. It used all web standards, nothing special, and it's under 600 lines of code to do the whole thing. Let me tap here on Apple Directory. You see we automatically slide up the keyboard. I'll go ahead and search for, let's say, John, if I can type here today. That's fine. Shake on stage. So here's John. Now you see it did the lookup into the LDAP database, brings back this website, which looks exactly like the built-in applications. You get the scrolling, you see, it's all touch interface, scrolling. Let me go ahead and choose someone, say John Keith here. And again, it brings that card back. Here is the card running in this web application. Now, as I said, you get the same look and feel, the same behavior as you do for the built-in applications. So let me show you that to you. If I hit the home button here, here's our home screen. Let me go into our native contacts application. Right? So again, it's all the same scrolling, same columns and everything. If I tap on Tim Cook, here's what Tim Cook's card looks like in the native built-in contact application. If I hit this home button, take you back to this app. This is a web application. It looks the same. So that's great. But the next thing I said is we can actually take advantage of the built-in services of iPhone from these web applications made for phone. So if I tap here on the phone number, it automatically goes and calls the person. So you can call right from your web application. Another one here, it has an email address. If I tap on that, it slides up the built-in mail service. So this is the built-in compose window comes up. You can type something here, compose a message right from your application. Let me say, what if I was interested in seeing the floor plan of John Keith's? So I can tap on here. Again, goes back, does a standard web query, comes back with an image. This could be a PDF, it could be a JPEG, it could be a TIFF, almost any image type. I can even take and I can watch this, I can 2-pinch, zoom it up. So it's a multi-touch display. Move it around, zoom it up just like that. There's his office. I can double tap, and zooms back down. And I go back to his card. I can even, here, tap on his address. This address takes me directly to the built-in Google Maps application. You can see where the office is. You can double tap to zoom in, move over a little bit. I could actually switch to satellite mode. I want to see exactly what the office is going to look like when I get there. Zoom way in there. Boom. Integrated right in with your custom apps built for iPhone. I can go back to the app. I can go back to the manager. Tap on the manager. It's walking the LDAP tree back on the server. You can see, here's Kathy Ames, the manager. Here's all the direct reports. It's absolutely incredible. So when we were looking for a developer story for iPhone, we realized by building in all of the latest web standards, the entire engine from Safari right into here with all of Web 2.0, and then tying it with the services that we've built into the phone, you can build fantastic applications for iPhone. And I tell you, I can't wait to run all the apps that you're going to end up building. Thank you very much.
Woo. Thank you. There are whole companies building their applications this way. Salesforce.com, Google comes to mind as well. And this is a very modern way to build applications. We think it's going to be awesome on the iPhone. So developers, we think we've got a very sweet story for you. You can begin building your iPhone apps today. You can get your hands on an iPhone, do your final testing, and have them out early in July. You can run your applications on Safari, on your Mac in the meantime, because it's the same browser, and it's the same engine underneath them. So we're very excited about this. June 29th, 18 days from now. So, we've seen this morning Leopard, Safari for Windows, and now an awesome way to write apps for iPhone. And that's what today's about. We have an awesome week planned for you here at WWDC. Again, 159 sessions on everything you've heard about this morning and more. 94 hands-on labs and 1,200 Apple engineers on site. So enjoy the week, and I hope you love the kinds of things we're working on and providing you. Thank you very much. Take care.